Hey guys, good morning everybody. Today is Friday, August 8th. It is 6:23 right now. We got market opening up in about 7 minutes. So marked up liquidity over here. Looks like we're pretty much good to go for the most part. One thing that I wanted to put out there is ChatGPT just updated their AI. They're on GPT-5 now. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to pull up a daily outlook because the AI is so different now. I'll have to figure out a way to pull the data up. Seems like I might have to pull stuff manually because the new GPT just doesn't, it's not able to pull any data at all, any live data at least. So we'll uh we'll see what we can do from there. But yeah, market's gonna open up shortly in about 6 minutes. I've marked liquidity here and we'll see where market takes us. We're currently very neutral right now, so hopefully we get some direction here once the market opens up. But right now we don't really have much. Price is kind of just ranging and consolidating around this middle area right here. So it's been ranging consolidating within this middle area since London session, fake out below, push above, new consolidation, and then push back below here. So the main meat of the market is pretty much down this middle area right here. And we'll see if we can get something. All right. Hey, Daniel, morning. All right, guys, we got market opening up shortly in about 5 minutes. Let's take a look at the overall trend for today. Overall trend right now is currently it's neutral on the 1 minute, it's neutral on the 5 minute, neutral on the 15, neutral on the 30, neutral on the 1, and bearish on the 4 hour. So it's more of a bearish neutral on the higher time frames, and it's pretty much straight neutral over here on the lower time frames, 1, 5, and 15. So we'll see what happens here in a few once market opens up. We got a bunch of liquidity sitting up here, a bunch of liquidity sitting down here. Price again is just sitting down the middle. So for me to take some entries, I'm probably going to look for price to push above this area over here. And for sells, I'm going to look for price to push below this area down here. So we'll see. We got the Asia high, which is up here at 44,221. We got the Asia low, which is right here at 44,83. London low is way down here. So market's kind of spread out a bit. Let's see. Yeah, market's a bit spread out a bit. All of the high lows are going to be down here, it looks like. Or no, they're pretty mixed. There's not too much volatility here overall. Hey Chris, yeah, unfortunately no daily outlook. So good morning everybody. Today is Friday, August 8th. Happy Friday everyone. 6:27 right now. Markets gonna open up in about 3 minutes. So unfortunately, ChatGPT has updated their GPT model. They pretty much made the flagship GPT-5, and I can't go back to GPT-4. So with that being said, like their AI is completely different now. Like I'm not able to pull any live data, which is weird. Like I can't pull news, can't pull fundamentals, none of that stuff. I need to feed the data to the AI for it to put together a a trading plan. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to do it today. Unless I can figure out a way to revert back to GPT-4 or just keep playing with it, I guess, then I could maybe figure out. But yeah, it just doesn't give me any data. I tried to pull up the data here and it said we couldn't fetch real-time YM data. Live market data tools are limited right now. Best bet is to pretty much pull the data yourself. There's no news here either, so it's like it's it's weird. I mean, it's weird. This is supposed to be the smartest GPT that they've built. This is supposed to set new pioneering, areas for GPT, but right now I just can't pull live data, which is weird. So. Yeah. Morning, Maria. Morning, Barack. Yeah, I know it threw me off because I knew it was coming, but I didn't think they were going to close off the older models. Like when ChatGPT 4 was available, you can still use 3 and 2 like the old GPTs. But right now, if you try to use ChatGPT, it's only set to 5. It's a flagship model, and you can't use any of the older models. They have GPT-O, which you have to pay more for. It's the Pro, but yeah, I don't know. It's completely different. I'm sure it's great with other things like coding and solving equations and stuff like that, but like pulling raw live data, it just doesn't have that feature yet, which I'm surprised because I thought they'd have everything ready to go if they were going to roll this out, especially as a flagship and pretty much block out the older models. So, hey, Steven, morning. All right, guys, price is pushing up right here. We got market opening up in about a minute. If you guys are looking to take the momentum breakout, the original momentum breakout is going to be a buy for the day. We don't really have an overall bias here right now with regard to the overall direction of bias, but we'll see what happens here in a few. So we got market opening up in about a second, and market is now open here. So with market open, we got the breakout right there pushing up. We're looking for the orb over here. We don't really have an overall direction of price, so it's going to be kind of tough to really have a bias here, but we'll see. So you got price pushing up right here for the orb. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to mark low point right here. This is a huge candle. I don't know if we're going to be able to take the orb today. Here's the breakout, guys. Breakout already hit full TP right there. I can obviously tell not without even marking it up, but full TP right there for the breakout if you guys took that. So this is the momentum breakout for a buy. Huge push to the upside. We have a big push right here. Price is pretty much sweeping liquidity as we speak. This looks like a breakage structure right here. Yeah, so we got price all the way up here. This is going to be the low point of the orb, and this is going to be the high point of the orb. If you guys are looking to take the orb for a buy, it's going to be up here above 44,232. If you're taking the orb for a sell, it's going to be right here at 44,167. We don't have an entry here yet for the orb, but this looks like this is going to be the setup here. This candle is going to close in about 30 seconds. So if you guys are looking to take the 2-minute orb here, um, it's pretty mixed with regard to the trend, guys. The 1 minute and 5 minute are bullish, 15 minutes neutral. Everything's pretty much neutral bearish right now except for the 1 minute. So the 1 minute's the only one that's really bullish here, strong bullish. Everything else is kind of mixed. So I don't know if I'll be looking to take this here, but if it does come up, I'll mark it up for you guys. I'll have to wait for this here to confirm. All right, so we got price kind of pushing around this area. Again, if price pushes above the 44,232, this is going to be the orb entry for a buy. So I'll be looking for price action right here. If you guys want to take this again, it's at 44,232. That's going to be the entry price for the orb. If you're looking to take it, it has to close above this area. I'm not going to like this if it keeps touching it and coming back down, right? We need this to consistently stay above this area, break and retest, and continue up higher from there. So I'll see here. It's going to be at 44,232. 44,232. For entry, 44,232. So I'll be looking to take this here if it ends up closing. I'll put my pending order there and we'll kind of see where it goes. Again, it has to close above it. It did not close above it, guys, so there's no entry right there yet. It has to close above this blue line right here, which is at 44,232. I'm not liking the price action here, guys. I don't like how this happens, right? Typically, I want it to stay above. I don't like how it pushes up pretty high like this and it comes back down right below at the last second. This shows that the market's very indecisive with regard to the direction right now. Looking over here at my overall bias, my bias right now is currently it's pretty bullish for the most part. We have the 1 minute, 5 minute, 1 hour, which is bullish, 15 minutes neutral, 30 minute and 4 hour are bearish. But I don't like the price action here. You guys see how price keeps pulling back. It pulls up and then it pulls back below, right? That's not a good sign. You don't want to see that. You want price to stay above and stay strong, and you want to see it retest and push up higher. You don't want this where price is pushing up, pushing down, pushing up, pushing down, and not actually staying very consistent. So no close right there. Still no entry for the orb. A lot of inconsistency here with regard to the direction of bias and with regard to the direction of trend here. Looks like price is pulling back down. If price pulls back down lower, then the orb here can be for a possible sell. It's going to be at 44,167. I mean, it's fine. If we don't get anything here, I'm not looking to take anything. There's a possible, I'm looking for a possible bounce right here, maybe. This is just speculation, looking for price to possibly bounce from this area here. If anything, I'd base it off the ATR 2020. So the reason why I saw the bounce here was because of this huge green candle, right? The big green candle right here. I looked at price to maybe push up, pull back for a retracement to the halfway mark, and then push right back up right there. So this is a speculative move right there. Basically, just look for a retracement of this big green candle and continuation up to the upside. All right, so still no orb, guys. Still no orb here. Yeah, PC said, yeah, might not trade today. Profits are good. We'll see what happens. Hey, Sam, morning. Yeah. I mean, I'm in the same boat. Like if nothing here comes up, I'm not going to force anything. Like for the orb, I'm probably not going to take the orb here, even if it comes up later, unless we have a strong trend bias. Because right now there's not really much of a bias here, right? Not just a trend bias, but a bias in general. Everything here is kind of mixed. You can see our price is now coming down. If you guys want to take this for a sell, it has to close below this 44,167. You're going to look for price to retest this area and continue dropping from there. We don't have that here yet, but that's kind of what we'd be looking at. Yeah, really tricky orb and really tricky direction here because you can see here price is now pulling back into this middle area. So it looks like this speculative move that I marked up earlier did hit already right there for 20 points. So that's pretty much done with. Price came down, filled the halfway candle, and now it's coming right back down to this lower area. I'm gonna clean this up here. It looks like price basically swept off this upper area. I'm gonna mark this up as a new higher high. So again, still no entries here, guys. The orb here has not set up. Price is pushing back up. We'll see here if we get a possible opportunity for a buy, but the overall bias right now is not very strong. I got the 1 minute, which is bullish, 5 and 15 minute are neutral, 30 minutes bearish, 1 minute, 1 hour is neutral, and the 4 hour is strong bearish. So it's pretty mixed right now. You can see it right here. For me personally, I like to have an aligned directional bias. We don't have that directional bias here right now. So you got price pushing back up. All right, we'll see what happens here. Price is pushing back up. I think my bias today is probably going to be bullish, but I mean, we'll kind of see what happens here. It's kind of mixed because lower time frames are bullish, the higher time frames are bearish, so it's pretty mixed. If you're looking for short-term moves, bullish might be the way to go. If you're looking for long-term moves, bearish might be the way to go. But they're pretty much mixed across the board. Again, I'm looking down here at my screener to see if like have any opportunity, but you can see over here, it's not really aligned at all. We got 1 minute, which is bullish, 5 minute neutral, 15 minute neutral, 30 minute bearish, 1 hour neutral, 4 hour strong bearish. So it's not looking so direct. It's not looking aligned right now, which I need. I need it to look aligned, or else I personally don't like to take entries until they have. Yeah, Brock said I'd be very happy with bulls and cautious with sells. I agree. Preferably, I like to take buys here because we had that drop yesterday. Price kind of dropped the other way. So I would look for a possible correction here. So back to the orb over here, guys. The orb is dropping below. If you guys want to take the sell's going to be right here at 44,167. So you're looking for price to break and close below it, retest and continue down lower. Vice versa, price pushes up. You're looking for price to break and close above 44,232, retest and push back up higher. From what I've noticed and what I've seen over the years, guys, basically if this orb doesn't fill within the next minute, then it's probably not going to be a good orb. From all the breakout strategies I've applied over the years, typically if it doesn't happen within the first 10 minutes, it's probably not going to happen. So, all right, we got price pulling back into this lower range. Like I said earlier, we had this lower range where price was kind of sitting in for a majority of the time. Price pushed up and it kind of sat in this middle area up here. Now price is below, back into this lower range. Sam is asking, how do you decide your bias for the day, Sean? So initially, I used to use AI to give me the overall bias with regard to fundamentals and stuff like that. I don't know what time you got into the live session, but I don't have a daily outlook for today. ChatGPT has updated their flagship model to GPT-5, and unfortunately, they're not able to pull live data. So they're not able to pull the stuff that I need to provide me a daily trading outlook. I would use that for the overall bias. And then on top of that, I would use the overall trend bias. The overall trend bias here is a little mixed, right? It's starting to shift back to bearish here because the higher time frames are bearish, price is below the pivots, trend meters red, pivots are angling down. The lower time frames here are also shifting bearish. So with that being the case, this is going to be our possible overall trend with regard to just, trend meter here, or just trend in general. Over here, looking at the market structure, this is also turning bearish. So I'm using a couple of different things to determine the overall bias. But initially, I would try to use AI to help me identify with fundamentals and just price structure and movement over the previous day. But I'm just not able to get that today. So I need to work with ChatGPT to figure out a new model or understand how to use a new model. But you can't use 4.0. It's flagshipped at 5. So you can't go back. I mean, I don't know if you try to pull up GBT, but they don't let you go back this time. That's what's super annoying about it because it's completely different now. Like when you put in data or when you put in prompts, it's like it gives you a different response now. And I mean, I'm sure the model is great for everything else. Like it's good for probably coding and math equations and photos and stuff like that. But like pulling live data, you can't pull anything on GPT-5 yet. So we'll see. All right, guys. The sell right here for the orb looks like it filled, which I think is weird. I don't know why ChatGPT did not allow you to go prior. Because when you're using 4, you could go back to 3 and 2, but can't do it here on this one. Yeah, here, I'll show you guys real quick. See, so typically I try to put in the information here, and it just says, we can't fetch real-time data for YM. It basically says to just pull the market data yourself. Right here is GPT-5. You can't go back into the previous models. It's only in ChatGPT 5 now. You can't go back to 4, you can't go to 3, 2, anything else. It's just stuck at 5. So it's gonna be a learning curve because I'll have to figure out, well, there's the thing that I can do is I can pull up the data myself, but it's gonna take forever for me to do that. So I don't know if I'll be doing that. Anyways, guys, back over here to the orb. The orb's currently running for a sell right here. Not sure if anybody decided to take it. Like I said, I'm not really looking to take this here yet because the overall direction isn't very strong. I'll look for continuation movements, but not necessarily the orb here. So we have price pushing below. This could be a possible high-low break and retest off this lower area right here. Does it break past the structure? It's going to be at 44,152. But this thing's dumping pretty heavy now. So the orb here is running in profit, guys. If it hit 30 points, which it did, you should move your stop loss in profit to 10. So stop should get moved in profit now. You can pretty much guarantee 10 or shoot for the 40 here. All right, guys, if you're in this position right here, I would recommend moving your stop loss in profit. You don't have to, but I would guarantee 10 and aim for the complete 40 right there. Man, this market's a mess. I'm not going to take anything here yet. See how far price is pulled up. There's another possible high-low break and retest right here, but like I said, I don't like the price action here. So I didn't get into this position. But yeah, high-low break and retest off this higher low right here. This is also a change of character. This price is bullish here, then it shifted below this higher low. And this would be a possible opportunity, but I'm glad I skipped that one there because you guys can see the price action here is not really consistent. All right, so if you guys took the orb entry right here, it looks like you should have gotten stopped out in profit right here for 10 points. Price broke and closed below structure, retested that area, came back down right here, dropped down to 30 points. As soon as it dropped down to 30 points, my trailing stop would get moved up to 10 points right here. So this would have guaranteed 10. And you should be out of the position now. And here we go, as price pulls right back up. Oh, that's weird. You're still on 4PC? I think if you were to refresh, if you and I you probably don't want to refresh, but if you refresh ChatGPT, it won't. It'll probably kick you up to 5, unless it's only for the plus. Uh, I mean, it might be only for the plus, the premium ChatGPT subscribers, because I'm on plus, so that might be why I got kicked up to the 5. But yeah, I can't go back to the old one. Usually you'd have the option to go back to the old one. I think people might complain about this and then they're probably going to allow you to go back to the old models. I feel like they should have had this figured out before they forced everybody over. The thing is, they didn't even give a warning about it. Like I knew it was coming because I follow other AI platforms and they kept mentioning that ChatGPT was going to drop the new model, but they didn't really say anything like, oh, be aware that this might happen. All right, guys. So we are now looking for price to kind of move out of this area. Let me clean this up a little bit. We have a mess over here now. I'll clean this up over here too. New structure right here. Yeah, I'm just gonna clean up the structure here because it's a bit of a mess now. So we're getting sweeps though. So if you guys are not catching these other moves, I mean, there's sweeps that are coming up. Like there's a sweep that happened right here off this lower low. I probably wouldn't have gotten into that one. I would have went for the extremes like down here, but there's a sweep right here that did come up off this lower liquidity. All right, gonna clean this up a little bit. Just trying to make the charts as clean as possible so we don't have too much clutter. All right, so we're just stuck in this huge range, guys. Unfortunately, this looks like it's gonna be a ranging day. I was really hoping today would be more of a directional day, but we're just in this huge range back and forth, back and forth. Going over here to the orb. Price is back into that orb range. I'm gonna clean this up as well. So no orb for me today. You guys can see this, how price fakes out basically in both directions. Price pushed above, didn't actually close above it, faked out, pulled below, closed below the orb here, and then it faked back into the range. So it might just range within this middle orb right here. Overall direction here is starting to shift bearish though, so this is a good thing, right? The overall direction here is starting to shift bearish. So I'll be looking for price to continue moving in this direction below. Possibly look for a high-low break and retest from down here. But other than that, we'll see. All right, we got price pulling back up. As it pulls up higher, you can see over here the rating goes back to neutral. So we are pretty much neutral across the board right now. We're neutral bearish. It shifts back to bearish when price comes back down. When it pushes back up, it swings back to neutral. All right, we don't really have much here. All right, guys, we continue to wait. Let's take a look at the overall trend. 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute is now flipping back to bullish. So we got a bullish bias with the shorter time frames, lower time frame or higher time frames over here. We have 30 minute, which is neutral, 1 hour, which is bearish, and the 4 hour, which is bearish. So the higher time frames are pretty much bearish neutral, lower time frames are bullish neutral. So I mean, there's opportunities going to come up here either way or in either direction. Oh gosh, okay, because you're on your phone. They probably haven't updated the phone model yet of it if you're on the app. But yeah, the web version is stuck on 5. Sam said there's other reasons why he's taking these sweeps. Order flow shows orders there, shows order there. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, so Sam is over here taking these sweeps all throughout. I'm just watching to see where price ends up going from here. There's a possible fair value gap right here for those of you who like to trade fair value gaps. Building up down the middle. I'll clean this up right here. Price is kind of out in the open. So in order for me to take some buys here, I need price to push above this higher high. That'll be fine because if it does push above this area, it's going to be a change of character around here. It'll break structure and then it'll be a change of character from bearish to now bullish. I mean, we're really just in a big range. So a lot of these change of characters and breakage structures don't really make a difference because even though it breaks above it, it just pulls back below. So ideally, what you probably want to take in this type of market is going to be sweeps. There's going to be a sweep level right here at 44,253. Um, this looks like a pretty strong zone up here. So this could possibly come up, sweep from there, come right back down. There's two things that'll happen here, Bryce. Guys, it's either going to sweep from that level or it's going to break above it and continue pushing up higher. From my other screeners over here, it shows that this high is about an 80% strength high. So that means that's a pretty strong high. There's also a lot of volume up here as well. A lot of volume here. So we have price pushing up higher. So there's two things that I might look at this point. So for half of the people who might look at this as a sweep, for myself, I'm probably going to look at this as a break and retest. So what I'm going to look for here is a possible break and close above it, retest and push up higher. But if that's not the case and price is sweeps from here, that'll be a sweep, right? So there's two things that'll happen. It's either going to sweep or it's going to break and retest. If you're not confident or familiar with like what to look for, then obviously I wouldn't take it for either trade. But those are the two different scenarios that may play out here. See what happens here in a few. All right, we got price pushing up. All right. Yeah, Broxid valid. Change of character would be above or below either extremes, prefer higher. Yeah, I mean that's where I see the change of character right there, Brock. I mean, but price could easily sweep off here. We have a lot of volume sitting up here, and we have a strong high at that point. The more that it retests it, the weaker the high will get, though. So right now, this is the first test. Price is going to break and close above it, looks like. So we'll see. This is either going to sweep off that higher high, or it's going to break and close above it, right, for a change of character. So it looks like a sweep right there. Unless like at the last second it just breaks through it. It's breaking past it right there. So it looks like a small sweep could have filled, and we're getting a push up higher from this point. So this would be a change of character. Possible sweep at 44, or not sweep, break and retest at 44, 253. Lower time frames are pretty bullish. So I'm not in this position here yet. This thing kind of pushed up at the last second, so I decided not to get into it. Still watching here to see the price action. The overall trend here is just it's not very strong. So we have an overall bias here. It's somewhat bullish, but it's not as strong as I'd like it to be. So the 1 minute, 5 minute, 1 hour is bullish, but the 15 minutes neutral, 30 minutes bearish, and the 4 hour is strong bearish. So it's not really aligning with my confluences here where I want to take this specific position. Plus, I think price here kind of pushed up a little strong, so it's due for retracement. Not to say this isn't going to play out, but it's just the confluences here don't line up with what I'm looking for. 30-minute market profile is rejecting off the point of control right there. Then we have the 1 hour rejection right here off the point of control as well. So I'm not in this position right here, guys. Like I said, I didn't like here how price kind of just sat around this area and then it pushed up at the last second. I like when it's a strong candle initially and it holds, right? But again, not to say this here is not going to play through. It's just the criteria here didn't line up how I would have liked it to. Like I would have liked to see the 15-minute here to also be bullish, but there's nothing there yet. There goes. Price sits in this middle area. Did you get into this position right here, Brock, or you're just waiting? I'm not in this one right here. I'm just waiting. All right, so I'm not in this position right here, guys. Like I said, I held off on it because I didn't like the way this candle closed up here. Initially, if it would have pushed up and just came down right away, I would have taken it. But right here, price kind of pushed up the last second, so I decided to stay out of that position there. Looks like the sweep here played through though. So, like I said, there's two different scenarios here that could have played out. The sweep here, which would have swept from this point, or the break and retest above. I mean, I don't think this thing's done pushing yet, but looks like there's a possible sweep right there as well. See how far it pulled back. Yeah, it pulled back exactly like 20 points before pulling back above. So this is what I was worried about for price to kind of just sit here in limbo, right? We have two different analysis here that would have played out. It's either a break and retest or a sweep. And right here, price didn't really do either one, right? It's kind of just sitting down the middle right now. The ATR is currently at 20 right now, so it's kind of just sitting there at limbo. We're starting to get a pretty strong bullish trend though across the board now. So I'm going to keep looking for opportunities here. What I might get into is this next high-low break and retest. So at 44,269. Yeah. So the initial change of character didn't work out right there, but I'm going to try to get in right here for this break of structure. Entry is going to be right there at 44,269. It's got to actually close above it though. I can't have it where it's kind of spiking back and forth like it did on that last break of structure. I want it to actually close above it. And there we go. I'm going to put my pending order right here.
Order order submitted.
So I'm not in the position yet. Looks like it's probably not going to fill for me. Or maybe it will right here if it pulls back. We got 48 seconds left on this candle, so I'll keep watching it right here. Nice. Sam actually re-entered that position there earlier. So I'm just trying to get into this right here for a high-low break and retest. It did not fill for me. So if it doesn't fill right here, I'm going to cancel it. Yeah, it's not going to fill. And that would have been a nice trade right there too. All right, well, canceling my order.
Order canceled.
All right, canceled my order right there, guys. Unfortunately, it did not fill for me. It filled, but I just didn't get in time. So it closed, and then as soon as I put it there, it was already above. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to get into this one here. All right, so now that we are continuing further, nice. Kyle caught the sweep and he's done. So Kyle is done for the week. All right, Kyle, we'll see you back here on Monday. All right, price has already hit the 30 right there, guys. So if you guys took this position, I would highly recommend moving your stop loss and profit. Aim for the 40, but move your stop loss in at 10 to guarantee profits. Let's see. Nick said got the order for 40. CVD has been helping a lot this week. Nice. You take the order for a buy right there, Nick? I'm assuming he's buy, yeah, because the sell over here didn't play through, right? Yeah, 40 didn't hit there for the sell, but or it for the sell over here, you could have guaranteed the 10 points. So I think the stop loss was moved in profit here for the sell. For the buy though, this here did push up pretty nicely, retested, push right through. Gosh, okay. Nice work, Nick. All right, so there's nothing here right now, guys. Unfortunately, I couldn't get in for this high-low break and retest. This would have been the entry I would have looked to take. Keep looking for the next one here now. All right, Brock. We'll see you back here on Monday. Brock's done too. Yeah, it looks like a lot of you guys here are cutting out early. So 40 points hit here, guys, for the high-low break and retest. If you guys took that, nice work. If you guys didn't, completely fine. I tried to get into this position here. I put my pending order as soon as this candle closed, but I was only off by like maybe a split second because as soon as I entered it, price was already up by a few points, and I wasn't able to get into that fill. So no fill for me there, and now we just kind of wait. Kind of just wait again. It's pushing bullish like we anticipated. Like I said yesterday, it was kind of bearish because of the tariff news, and now price has shifted right back up. Right. And Christian is done for the day too. Did you get into that one, Christian? Hopefully you did. Hoping you got some profit. Okay, great. Yeah, I'm hoping you got some profit because I know you had a bit of a rocky week this week and last week. So nice work on catching that, Christian. All right, guys. So we're looking for another opportunity here for price to push up higher. We have a new higher high right there, which is going to keep getting pushed up higher until price retraces down. I'm kind of curious if this is going to be the same thing that happened yesterday, right? So yesterday we had price which dropped and just kept dropping with no retracement. It looks like right here price is pushing up and pushing up higher with no retracement. So we'll kind of see what happens here as price moves along. Everything is pretty much bullish for the most part right now, so I am looking to take buys here if I do have opportunity. There's a buy signal that came up right here. This was an MPSV2. So there's a couple different entries that came up alongside each other here. There's an MPSV2, which price pushed up from there. And then we had the high-low break and retest right here off this higher high. And yeah, I guess we'll see what happens here next. But the overall direction is now looking pretty bullish for the most part. So I'm going to be looking for some buys here, but I have to wait for something here to actually come up. So I need to have some sort of retracement here before it ends up pushing up higher. All right, so price is pushing up higher. There's a possible retracement zone right here if anybody's looking to take entry. And this is all speculations because this candle here is kind of big. Looking for price to possibly come down here and push back up. So if it does retrace, possible retracement here, continuation up higher. There's no specific strategy for this right here. I mean, if you want to consider this like a fair value gap, you can. But yeah, basically this candle here is pretty big. So whenever you have a big candle like that, price will tend to retrace to the middle point of it. Like for example, this big candle right here, price retraced to the middle point. There could have been a fair value gap entry right there as well. Um, and then same with a lot of these older ones too, these previous big ones. It's not an entry that I would take, but I'm just marking this up as possible speculation. We do have retracement right here, so this is a good sign. We do want to see retracement and then continuation up higher. Yeah. So there we go. Is it filled? So it filled exactly like I mentioned right there. I mean, I probably wouldn't go for the full 40 here, maybe like 2020 or something like that. So 20 would have gotten hit, or even 30 maybe. All right, we don't really have much going on right here right now, but the trend is bullish. Trend is bullish. Overall bias here is bullish. Market structure is bullish. So obviously gonna look for some buys here. 1 minute's bullish. You can see here prices above the pivots. The trend meter is green. Pivots are angling to the upside. Same with the 5 minute over here. Same with the 15 minute. Same with the 30. Same with the one. And the 4 hour is still bearish. So the higher time frames are starting to push to the upside. The lower time frames are already bullish. We'll see here if it holds. You're looking for some possible retracement continuation. So there goes that entry that I talked about, guys, right there. Price came up, retraced to the halfway of this candle, shot right back up. This is considered a fair value gap, break and retest. This would have been the gap right here. That's where the entry would have happened down the middle. Yeah, I'm pretty well versed in a lot of these break and retest strategies. So if I do see stuff here, I'll mark it up for you guys. Obviously not stuff that I'm looking to take myself because I have my own trading plan. But there's opportunities here that can be taken, of course. There's another gap right here. So if this is a gap, price may retrace down to the halfway mark before it climbs up higher. Sam said looked like market flow at 44,330. Not very sure. It got close to it for the market flow entries that we typically like to take. We want to enter within the pivots here, right? So this did come down pretty nicely, but it didn't come down in between the pivots. Usually I go for the whole number, like you said, the 330. But for this, I probably would have went for the 20 down here because I think the 330 would still be outside the pivots. But I mean, either way, some people like to catch it right down the pivot. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if someone did take it at the 330 mark. So a couple entries here. If you guys are just joining in, for today we had the momentum breakout, which hit full TP right there, 50 points. We had a couple scalps here. We had a sweep, MPSV2, um, high-low break and retest, and a possible fair value gap right here, break and retest. So you guys can see a lot of these strategies, they align with other strategies. Like the fair value gap break and retest is very similar to my breakup structure. High-low break and retest, it's the same thing. It's just different structure to look for the retest. Overall, market structure is very bullish right now, so I'm going to stick to buys. But I need to wait for this here to retrace down. So what I'm looking for here is I'm looking for price to retrace down, pull back up, break and retest, and push up higher from there. Let's see, Sam said, okay, cool. 410, 420, see sells in the order flow level 2 data. 410 and 420. Gotcha, okay. It's good to know. Possible. See, the thing with those types of orders is they could be phishing. They could be putting fake orders up there, and then as soon as price gets near it, they cancel. Those are the worst. So I usually don't look for anything that's too far up like that, unless the volume's like extremely, well, no, if the volume's super, super high, then it's obviously gonna be a phishing attempt. Like if you see like maybe if you see like 50 or 100 contracts up there sitting, then I would see that as a trap. They're trying to lure people to get to that point. As soon as they get it or price reaches that point, they flip it to a sell. PC said, what made you start considering ICT concepts? What's an ICT concept, PC? Because fair value gaps, those aren't ICT concepts. They've been around forever. They're just gaps that, it's imbalance in price. So, is that what you're referring to? Because I don't consider that ICT concept. I mean, gaps have been around forever. Because I don't really look at ICT. I don't even know what ICT looks at. I mean, he's pretty much all the stuff ICT looks at is just recycled information. He just calls it something different. Like change of structure, change of character is the same thing as like break of structure. It's just I know that's something that a lot of ICT people like to use, but change of character is really just a shift in trend, right? because price could be shifting up. And I know a lot of people like to use change of character, but it's really just a break in structure or a shift in trend. So I don't follow any ICT. I've never looked at any ICT stuff. I know people kind of use those types of terms, but I don't. For me personally, I don't know. That's why I'm not sure what you're referring to. If you're talking about change of structure, break of structure, I'm assuming you're talking about fair value gap because that's what I just talked about right here. But no, I'm not. I don't consider anything ICT. I just consider it that a imbalance in price. All right, so we got price coming back down right here. Again, right here, like I said, the thing that I'm looking at is I'm not really looking at it as a fair value gap. I'm looking at big candles, right? Because I've already talked about this before. Like whenever I see big candles, I look for price to retrace to the halfway mark and continue up higher, especially for in a very strong trend. Like right here, we have bullish structure. So if I ever see a big candle, like if I see a really big green candle that comes up, and that just happens to fall under, people call it gaps, but I don't really call it gaps. I just, for in my opinion, I just see it as a strong green candle. So right now we have a bullish trend. So if I see something like this, so say for example, if I see a big strong green candle, I know some people like to measure this as a gap, but what I see here is if I see a big green candle, I'm looking for price to retrace to the halfway mark and continue up higher from there. Yeah, Sam said it's just there's no easy way to call these fair value gap liquidity strategies. ICT made it so famous on YouTube and all. Yeah, like for me, I've always looked at these big candles, right? I always call this overextension, like an overextension candle. Um, yeah, nothing made me start looking at this as price imbalances. I've always looked at the big candles. So if you've ever seen this before, I always mention if you see a momentum signal, it's a big candle, look for it to retrace to the halfway mark and then look for entry for the retest, or just don't take the trade at all, just skip it. So I don't know if like for example here I always mention this, right? If you see like a big candle like this, look for the retracement. It's not that I started looking for imbalances. I've always looked for this. Like for example right here, this is a perfect example actually. A big momentum signal with a strong green candle. When I said like whenever you see something like this, try not to enter right away, but wait for it to retrace to the 50% of the candle, which is like right here. So I mean, I guess yeah, if you want to call it imbalance, I've never called it an imbalance, so I just say imbalance because that's what people call it, right? So that you can understand what I'm talking about. But I just see this as an overextended candle. Usually if I see a big candle like this, I just skip it, right? Or if I do take it, I wait for price to retrace to the halfway mark. So it's not like I'm considering anything new here. It's literally what I've been talking about for years. It's just people call them imbalances. So yeah, back to what I was saying earlier, guys. We have a very strong bullish structure here um, with regards to structure and with regards to trends. So the 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, 1 hour, 30 minute are all bullish. So if I see a big candle like this, I'll be looking for price to retrace to the halfway mark. If you want to call it imbalance, by all means call it imbalance. I just call it an overextended candle, which is the same thing. If you think about overextension, it's really just an imbalance, right? Because each candle should be based off the ATR. So if you get a candle here, which is like 25 points or 22 points, this is a normal candle, right? If you see a big candle like this, it's just, for me, it's considered overextended or in common terms, imbalance. So yeah, I don't follow ICT at all, guys. I don't follow ICT. I just call it like whatever it's easier to be called, right? Because calling this an overextension candle is just more complicated than just calling it a gap. Or I don't even like calling it a gap. I don't like calling it a gap or fair value gap. I would like to just call it an imbalance. I think that's would be the best word for it because it's an imbalance of price. But it's no different than considering it overextension, right? It's the same with like for example here, see how price is pushed up this far? I consider this an overextension. For some people, they might consider this like a supply zone, right? Or an order block. It's the same thing. Or this is a resistance, right? Like price pushed up right here and price gets to this high point. For me, I would just be basic and call this a resistance, right? For other people, they might want to call it a supply zone or they want to call it a order block or whatever it may be. Um, but yeah, the words don't really matter. So you're looking at the same concept behind it. It's really just looking for overextension. You're looking for price to retrace and then continue back up. So right here, price is overextended, looking for the retracement and continuation back up. For this right here, it doesn't look like a big candle, right? Because we're on the 1 minute. But if I go on something like, say, the 15 minute, see how it's a huge candle? So you can see over here, it doesn't look like an imbalance here on the 1 minute, right? But if you go on the 15, this is an imbalance, right? Or it's considered for ICT people, they call it a fair value gap because there's like this big push where the candles are not connected. So yeah, I'm not trying to confuse you guys at all, but like I feel like there's so many different terms for a lot of this stuff. I try to find the generic term, but then whenever I use a term that's like that kind of makes the most sense, it's assumed that I'm using some sort of strategy or some sort of concept, which I'm not. I'm just looking at price action. That's really what I'm looking at, guys. Price action and technical analysis. That's like the gist of everything that I'm looking at here. I'm gonna have to start creating my own names for it. Yeah, exactly. Sam said, yep, concepts are old. They've been around for so long, guys. If you guys like, if you look at like trend following strategies, like if you guys have looked back at Elliott wave theory, that stuff's the same thing as like this is Elliott wave theory, right? It's the same thing as like breaking in structure, right? So I call it break a structure. Some people might call it, an Elliott wave, third wave right here. Um, there's just so many different names out there for it. So don't try to get bogged down on the names or what people call stuff, guys. Just I would say look at the price action, right? Look at the price action, look at the market structure, and then call it whatever you like. But all this stuff that I'm looking at, none of it's new. It's like stuff I've been looking at. A lot of times I don't even mention it because it just shows up in my head. But in order for people to understand what we're looking at, I have to call it out, right? So just keep that in mind. All right, so there's nothing here yet. Again, I'm looking for price to push back up. We do have a new higher high right here. So, um, man, now that like we've kind of talked about this stuff, I'm like second thinking what to call things. Because like I was calling this a change of structure. Only reason I started calling it change of structure is because Brock's been talking to me about it. He keeps calling it change of structure, and it's basically just a break of structure. Um, or no, he calls it a change of character. And the thing is, change of character is another term that ICT kind of brought out. So just because I call it change of character, guys, don't think that I'm trading ICT. It's really just in my head, it's a change of structure or a break in structure or a change in trend. Um, I just call things certain things because people call them certain things when they talk to me about it. Because Barack's trying to set up a specific, he wants me to help him with some sort of indicator. And, those are just the terms that he's been using. And that's why I started using them. It's not that I'm trying to, it's just the name that I call it. All right, guys, there's nothing here right now. There is currently a higher low that's pending right here. This hasn't been established yet. So looking at this right now, we have a higher high, we have a higher low. What I'm looking for is for price to break above and continue climbing up higher. Again, this is going to be a break of structure, but in other instances, this may be considered a change of character. It doesn't matter. It's the same thing. Break of structure, change of character, break of high. We'll just call it structure. But there wouldn't be a change of character here in this situation because the thing is it's already bullish, right? The change of character would happen down here. So if price was to break below here, then this would be considered a change of character. It'd be a change of character plus a change of structure, but realistically, it's just a change in trend, right? Because if price breaks below here, some might call it change of character, but realistically, price is below the pivots. This is another thing too. See how price follows the pivots? It's just a change in trend, right? But in a lot of instances, people would consider this a change of character because it broke below this higher low. So change of character right here, but realistically, it's just a change of trend. Let's see. Sam is looking for a 231 sweep. Let's see what you got over here, Sam. 231 sweep. Yep. So your 231 sweep lines up with my higher low right here. So I got something right there. I got a higher low. This is going to be a possible break of like I said earlier, this could be a possible change of structure if this ends up pushing below here. Change of structure, change of trend. But if it doesn't and it fakes out, this could be your sweep right there. Right? There's two things that'll happen when price gets to this point. It's either going to sweep off this level. The thing with this right here, Sam, is that you have the sessions right below it. So you got this right here, and then you have the sessions right here at 44,221. So if anything, I mean, this would be the extreme. Depending on how wide your stop loss is, you might have better entry at this Asia high right here. But again, it kind of depends. I think your TP stop loss is like 1520, right? Something like that. Yeah, so you might be able to survive some drawdown here if it does pull back at all. But this would be the extreme at the Asia high. We'll see. You know what might happen here, and what we see a lot is price may trigger it. It might come down a little lower. So it might trigger it, come down a little lower, and then shoot right back up. Yeah, it's the first thing I can see right there. All right, so looking over here at the overall direction of market structure, it's currently mixed right now. The 1 minute's bullish, 5 minutes neutral, 15 minutes neutral, 30-minute bullish, 1 hour bullish, 4 hour bearish. With that being said, over here at the trend is pretty bullish right now across the 5 minute, 15 minute, 30-minute, and 1 hour. The 1 minute here is shifting down from neutral to bearish, and the 4 hour here is still bearish. So a little mixed. Little mix right there. So, yeah, I was just gonna say that. All right, so looking at this over here, guys, we have well, this low is not established yet. We have a new higher low, which is right here, but it's not established. In order for this low to get established, we need to have a new high here, right? So we have something here that's currently pending. I'm just continuing to follow through and watch as price moves along here. Um, yeah, we'll kind of see what happens here as price is bouncing around this area. So what I see right here is price is probably just going to range around this middle area. Eventually price is going to break out of here, but right now I'm expecting some sort of range, not really too much to happen here. The overall trend here and direction is starting to kind of shift a little bit. So looking at my screener over here, um, yeah, it's a little mixed. Let's see. Gyal said, "May I contribute, Sean? It's change of character if we are coming from a lower low to a higher high or a higher high to a lower low." Yes, that is correct. That's why you're looking for a shift in trend, right? So like basically, when you're looking at something like this, like you have a lower low, higher high, higher low, higher high. So yeah, it's correct what you meant, what you contributed. That's how it is. And then if price breaks below it. This is a break of structure, but if price breaks past the lower low, then that's a change of character, right? Because it's a shift in trend. We have bullish trend and then it shifts to a bearish trend. That's why I was saying, like, it doesn't really matter like whatever people call it, because it's really just a shift in trend. Because it's the same with this here, right? If price is climbing up and we have price pushing above this trend, if price swings this way, we'll have a shift in trend, but that's also going to be a change of character. So. Yeah, no, I agree with you, y'all, 100%. That's exactly how I see it too. So we get a higher high, higher low. The thing with the change of character and the break of structure though is that it's not always going to be perfectly clean, right? Whenever you see a change like a break of structure, for example, here, so we have a higher high, higher low, lower high. If price breaks past this and this is a break of structure, this can easily turn into a change of character, even though it's not really confirmed that it's an actual change of character yet, right? Because the thing is, if it breaks past this level, so say we have a higher high, higher low, higher lower high, and it breaks past this level right here, it's going to have a change of character, and then this is going to create a new lower low right here, right? So this, if this breaks past here, like say for example, we have this is a higher high, and it comes down right here, or say it comes down to the same level. A lot of times it comes down to the same level like that. This will be considered a lower low, but it's also going to line up with this previous higher low right here. So this is why like I don't really look at that specifically as like only higher highs and only lower lows, because in a situation like this, if it breaks past this, it's technically a break of structure, but it's also going to line up as a change of character. So yeah, I mean it's the same concept. I mean it's the same thing, right? It's just looking at it from a different lens. But yeah, I agree. Usually it's at the higher highs and it's at the lower lows for the most part. But here, let me show you an example of one that I just mentioned. So over here, and I'm only looking at this because I can see it on my chart. So right here, this wasn't a lower low. It was a higher low, but this would be considered a change of structure. And if you want to run this by Barak, you can run this by Barak too. But because I talked to him about this right here. Like for example, this is a higher low, higher high. But then when price broke past this right here, this is a change of character. The way that I see it is not necessarily based off higher highs and lower lows only. It's if you have a change, like, so for example, if price is pushing up, like how it is right here, um, like if this was to break past this level right here, I would consider this a change of character. But I wouldn't necessarily say it's only for higher highs and lower lows. It tends to usually it tends to only flip at higher highs and lower lows because those are going to be the extremes. But in a situation like this, like if this starts to range sideways, like say it starts to go lower right here, right? But it doesn't actually break past this higher low. Then I would consider this to be a change of character. Yeah. But you don't want to like there's no need to overcomplicate it, right? Like you said, it's basically a change of trend, a change of swing, a swing in trend. Same with structure. It just depends on what you're looking at. If you're looking at higher lows or if you're looking at the pivots, right? Same difference. Yeah, exactly. Y'all said like in the current screen, there is a change of character would happen if the lowest point before the bullish momentum started. Yeah, 100%. I agree with you, Joe. Yeah, it's a subjective way of looking at it. Exactly, yeah. But anyway, it's what it is. Yeah, I agree with you. Because like if it's trending heavily, then it's easier to catch, right? Like for example, like if this thing is trending heavily to the downside, then yeah, you'll see it as a lower low. But if it starts to consolidate like it did right here, this is where it becomes kind of messy. Like a lot of these like high lows, these are probably not even high lows that would be considered, right? Like I have a bunch of high lows here marked up. Like I got this higher low right here. I got this. See, if this lower low wasn't here marked up, this would actually be, and this wasn't here, this would actually be a higher low. It just depends on the market structure and the market conditions. In the best case scenario, we want price to be like this, pretty spread out. But it's not always like that. Yeah, exactly. Y'all said as long as it works for us. That's the key thing. Don't get too overcomplicated and don't get too confused with like the terms or what people call things. If it works for you with whatever you call it, I mean, you could call it any random thing, right? I know like, well, Christian's not here anymore, but Christian, he's familiar with like the Batman pattern, the bat wing pattern, and there's like these weird patterns and stuff that people look at. Um, and it's funny when you see people call it, but it makes sense for them, right? And it works for them. Like I forgot what, I don't even think it's on here anymore, but I mean, there's so many different tools here now. Like I forgot what was the bat pattern. I think it was the ABCD pattern. It was something like that. Like it was called ABCD, but people called it like the bat pattern. They would like draw wings or something like that. Or, sometimes people call it like for me, I like to keep things very simple. So like for example here, I call it like an M pattern. Some people will call something like that like a rising mountain or something, or like there's like different names for everything. But I would say just keep it simple. MPS V2 just came up right here, guys. I didn't take it, but it did come up right there. Yes, Mary, you should link up with Steven. I mean, Steven's actually been doing pretty good. He's been sticking to the orb entries and he's been doing pretty solid. Um, he's not taking like super random trades anymore, which is good because he's actually finding some pretty good consistency, which I'm finding surprising. So we have a buy signal right here, guys. Price pushed up, retraced, pushed back up. This was an MPSV2. You guys can see here the volatility is starting to kind of slow down a bit. I mean, depending on what you guys wanted to take this here as, the ATR is currently at 18. So, I mean, a lot of situations you might want to slow it down a bit. Yeah, Sam got out for 10 points. Not bad. Would have done the same thing. Samir said it's no fair for someone like Barack to just get it going easy using chemical terms while he avoids helping anyone. I mean, well, you said he gave you a bunch of books that were useless, right? So I think, if that's how you feel about him, I think that's, I think anyone in their right mind wouldn't want to help someone out like that if he was trying to like actually help you, but I mean, you just found it as like no help. So, I mean, I'm here to help you, Samir. If you need help with whatever, um, I'll answer your questions and stuff. But yeah, Brock's doing his thing. He's doing his own thing. Let's see. We got nothing else here right now, guys. I'm looking for price to kind of push around. Yeah, Sunset Brock threw the books at you. Threw all the books at you, every book he could think of. No, but Brock is he's helpful. Like, don't get it wrong, guys. Brock is very helpful. I'm trying to help him with stuff now too, because he wants some help with identifying structure a little easier. And it's kind of got me thinking too. I mean, the biggest thing that I kind of see here is like whenever we see momentum push off structure, like I don't have any momentum here pushing off structure. So this is why I didn't really look to take this MPSV2 here. But typically if we have price pushing off, seeing order block or support resistance or supply demand, any of that stuff, it tends to continue pushing in that direction. I'm not in this position right here, guys. I'm just following 7:38 right now. We're getting closer to 8 o'clock, guys. My cutoff for trading is 8 o'clock. I'm going to look for a possible high-low break and retest if possible right here, but the volatility is very low. So I don't know if I'll be able to go for that full 40 here. But everything's looking pretty bullish. We have the 1 minute, 5 minute, 30 minute, 1 hour, which is bullish, 15 minutes neutral, 4 hours bearish. Looking over here at the other screeners, I have also a strong confluence for push to the upside across most of the time frames except the 4 hour. And then looking down below at my last screener, I have it's a little mix. The 1 hours or the 1 minute's bearish, 5 minutes bullish, 15 minutes bullish, 30 minute, 1 hour, 4 hours all bearish. So it's a little mix across the board. I think because of the low volatility here, we might get some back and forth. So again, if you guys are looking to take any entries here, I would recommend getting in and out very quickly, probably with a tighter target. I think 40 points is going to be pushing it. It's a little too far out. Yeah, we'll see. All right, we got price coming back down, so this might be a shift in direction of market structure. We might not even have break and retest above anymore. All right, we got price just kind of sitting down here, guys. If there's any questions that you guys have, feel free to put them in the chat. We got structure here that's starting to set up a little bit, but we're just in the sideways move right now. Price just going back and forth, back and forth. It's doing pretty much what I said earlier. I said price is probably going to range within this middle area, which is what we didn't want. We wanted price to break above here and continue climbing up higher, or price to break below and continue climbing down lower. So we'll see. Let's see. All right, so we got nothing here right now, guys. I am still kind of waiting for something here to happen. Again, if you guys have any questions, want me to cover anything, I mean, I see you guys having a side chat in the in the chat right now. I'm not gonna read that. I'm just gonna look at the trading stuff, guys. Um, Sam said 44 226 sweet but low volatility. We'll put pending but lower. So he's trying to get in at 44 226. 44 226. Yeah, 44 226 could be good. All right. So the Asia high is going to be right here at 44 221. So yeah, if you want to put it a little bit lower, you can put it right there, but I think it might be a little too low. Actually, I take that back. You're trying to get in at 44 266. 266 is going to be right here. Okay. Yeah, we got the that's going to be the extreme right there, basically, or the current extreme, I guess. Yeah. So yeah, that could be a nice sweep area. It'd have to be pretty tight though. I think like maybe a 10-point sweep would be nice, maybe a 15. Anything past that might be a little much. All right, yeah, so we're getting a possible sweep right here at 44 266, which is what Sam's looking for. I can see it happening right there because price is in this range. I don't think it's a very strong sweep, but I think it's a sweep nonetheless. Like it could probably hit for at least 10 points. Anything above 10 points is kind of like wishful thinking though, because it's so what I think might happen is price might come down, sweep at 10 points, then come back down lower, and then bounce from here. Possibly a fake out, possibly a head and shoulders pattern, like a small one. That's just kind of what I see there. Yeah, I think there will probably be an initial bounce. So initially bounce 10 points, bounce, bounce. Yeah, basically head and shoulders as it comes down to this lower structure here. This lower structure right here is I think it was a supply turned, yeah, it's a supply turned into demand. So supply resistance turned into support demand zone. Yeah. All right, if you guys are just joining in, let's go over the entries for today again. So we had the momentum breakout, which hit full TP here for 50 points. We had a couple entries over here come up for scalping today. We had a sweep, MPSV2, break and retest, sweep, possibly another sweep right here. Yeah, just a couple entries here which came up so far. Um, yeah, nothing too crazy. I mean, I try to get into this break and retest right here, but I literally just missed it by like one, like maybe a split second. His price over here came, and then as soon as it closed, I ended up not getting filled, and it pushed up, and I just canceled my order. So this would have been my entry for the day, unfortunately, but it just did not play out that way for me. All right, we got nothing here right now. Let's see, Sam, looks like your sweep here got filled. I don't know what your target was. I think you're still in it, probably, right? Should be 10 points. Hopefully this pushes up and hits your target real quick. Sweep you up for 10 points right there. Okay, cool. So Sam got in at 260 actually. Got in lower. Looks like he waited for the close, which is good. Yeah. So if you got in at 260, it looks like your 10 already hit, 15 already hit two almost. So this is a break and retest of this higher low. So if you're looking for a high low break and retest for a sell, this is a high low break and retest for a sell, but the overall trend here is not bearish, so I wouldn't necessarily look to take that there specifically. Looking over here at the overall trend, yeah, I just don't have an overall direction right now for a sell. So as much as I would have wanted to take this here as a high low break and retest, see, yo, this is an example of we talked about the change of character. Typically, this is so for this right here, I would consider this a change of character for a sell, or I would consider this change of character, even though it's not a lower low. Because see how price shifted? We were in a bullish trend here. All right, let me go here real quick. So we'll start from here. Price was in a bullish trend, and then it shifted. And because price shifted back down below here, I would consider this a change of character. But my overall bias for today for market structure is not bearish, so I wouldn't have taken this here for the sell, even though it would have aligned. Yeah, this is an example of a change of character where it happens and it's not a lower low. Because obviously we're now in a downwards trend, right? Or we're attempting to go into a downwards trend. Price has shifted below the pivots, so I would look for the next break for continuation, which would be this lower low here. What's a Brockton recipe? Oh, you're trying to say Brockton. I was like, um, your analogy there kind of threw me off a little bit, Simmer. That was a specific type. All right, guys, it's 7:50 right now. If you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know. Otherwise, we're gonna wrap this up pretty soon. It's not looking like I'm gonna get the entry, unfortunately. So we'll see. All right. So it's not looking like we're gonna get anything here. We have a possible high-low break and retest right here, guys. If anybody is looking to take it, it's gonna be right here at the 44,256. Again, the price action and the market structure here is just too slow for me. So I'm not really looking to get into this position here. But if you guys do want to take it, I mean, there's two running alongside each other. I wouldn't overlap them. So like, there's technically one that's running already from up here, but the volatility is just too slow for me. So we got two basically high-low break and retest coming down below right here. The overall market structure is not completely bearish right now. Looking over here at the overall trend, it's not bearish either. So the 1 minute's bearish, 5 minute is bullish neutral, 15 minutes bullish neutral, 30 minute is bullish. Uh, the 1 hour here is um, neutral, and the 4 hour is bearish. So with that being said, I mean, it's pretty mixed right now. This is so this high-low break and retest is still currently running. It's just taking forever to hit. This one over here does not look like it's going to fill. Yeah, it's coming down right here. There you go, full TP right there for the high-low break and retest. As much as I would have wanted to take that inch right there, guys, like I said, it's just not a good setup because the volatility was too low. We're now getting a pickup in volatility, but we're too close to the sessions right here, and we're also getting close to 8 o'clock, which is my cutoff for trading. Yeah, so this right here, see how price broke and closed past the change of character? This is what would have been like one that I would have wanted to take. The only problem here is that the volatility was so low, and I wasn't too convinced to take this here because my overall bias was not bearish. So nothing there for overall market structure and nothing here for the overall trend, although price can possibly swing back down lower from where it's currently at. But my stats for this week are good. I can't complain. If you guys see my profits for this week, I'm still at 43,300. So no losses for this week, no losses for the month at all for August. I'm still doing pretty solid um, right here for the most part. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now, guys. I took one trade on Tuesday. It was the orb entry, took it for the full 40 points. Didn't take anything on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, nothing today, unfortunately. I was really hoping to take at least one trade today, but the market just had other plans for me. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to get into anything here specifically. Yeah, I missed out on this one right here. This would have been perfect. This one also would have been pretty nice if we had the volatility and the confluences for bias, but we just didn't have that here today. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. It's currently 7:53 right now, so we're about 7 minutes till 8. The volatility here is starting to slow down. The ATR is currently at 17. So don't really got much here to work with right now. The volatility starts to slow down even more. Nice work, PC. Yeah, catching the 100 points right there. See, so PC is looking for 358 to 258, 100 point move. Or you're already out already, right? Yeah. Yeah, solid work, guys. I don't really have much structure here. If anything, I could possibly see a retest of this area right here. You guys are looking to ride this down lower. The only problem is that we do have the red flag right there, which is the sessions. But if this does end up coming to retest, this could be the retest area right here. All right, guys. Looks like price came up right here. Didn't actually fill that area that I mentioned. So yeah, I was looking for price to come back and retest this area. Price didn't actually come up, but it's just sitting at the sessions right there. This is an area of manipulation, so I always consider this a tricky area to be looking for trades anyways. But there's still opportunity here for price to kind of swing up and fill around this area right here. Price broke structure at this point off this higher low. Yeah, I would still lean towards bearish, guys. If you guys are looking to take entries here, I'll lean towards bearish, maybe cash this back to open. But the sessions right here is causing some price manipulation. What might happen here is a fake out, another fake out, and then come back below. Yeah, I think I'm gonna close this week out. No trades for me, unfortunately. Fortunately, but unfortunately. So far here are my stats for the month, guys. I'm currently at 59,300 for the month of August. I've only taken two trades for this month so far. Took a partial trade over here on Friday, made 12,000 of last week. Took one trade right here on Tuesday, made 47,300. So in total, 59,300. Here are my overall stats for the year. So we started in January up until April, pretty good. Pretty much built this up net profit or gross profit up to like 200, 300,000 around April. And then we had the tariff news come out, and this kind of screwed up my positions a little bit. I kind of went back and forth for like a pretty good month or two, basically from April up until July. A lot of back and forth profitability here. And then I finally picked back up right here in July. And so from July up until now, August 8th, we've been in a pretty much upwards trajectory right here. So total gross profit is 641,530. My accumulated net is 545,846. So overall, pretty good for this year. I was only able to do this, guys, because I'm able to stay disciplined and stick to my trading plan, right? I'm not jumping anything here. Literally, you guys can see my stats. Most days I'm not taking any trades, but when I do take a trade, it's going to be a good trade. So for example, here for August, doing pretty good. For July over here, did pretty good overall. Mostly green days. Had two red days here. These are just one of those days where trades didn't go in my favor, and I just cut it out after two trades. And that's what I talk about discipline, right? Being able to not revenge trade and overtrade. For June over here, it was a little bit more of a mixed month. Had a couple losses, had a couple of wins, a lot of partials here. Because I did start to change my contract size and my positioning size this year. And then May, a slow week, a slow month for us because we had a lot of back and forth. April is my first red month for this year. I lost 59,000. So you can see I don't always have green months or green days, but overall my stats here are pretty consistent with regard to my profitability. So I'm happy with my profits for this month and for this week so far. And you just got to wrap it up. So yeah, price never came to fill this retest that I mentioned because it's sitting right here at the sessions. And at that point, I just wouldn't take it. It's 8 o'clock, guys. It's about to wrap. It's time to wrap this up. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Discord. Otherwise, we're gonna close this out pretty nice. A good week so far. Only one official trade for a full TP of 40 points on the orb. There was a lot of other entries that came up this week, but I didn't take them because they didn't line up with my bias here. My bias for overall market structure and my bias for overall trend. But I think that's about it. So, all right, guys, have a great weekend. If you guys have any questions, hit me up on Discord. Otherwise, I will see you guys back here on Monday for Market Open. So, all right, guys, have a great